Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Gintama, a Japanese movie from 2017 that is based on the manga series of the same name. Now this film begins with the following introduction. Realm of the Samurai. That name for our land is now just a memory. 20 years ago, alien beings descended to disrupt the peaceful world of Edo. We named them Amanto, or Sky People. They took over and redeveloped our entire city. The Bakufu government became no more than their puppet. Initial attempts were made to expel these invaders. A fearless band of patriots fought the good fight, but after terrible sacrifice, they were defeated. Fearing another rebellion, the Amanto banned all swords, and the samurai sank into irrelevance. Now, after that intro, we're introduced to our lead protagonist, a man once feared as the White Demon. Former samurai Gintoki Sakata works as an everyday handyman until a master swordsman tasks Gintoki and his friends with finding a cursed sword to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. But it seems as if it already has. So Gintama is one of those movies that is going to probably win you over or lose you completely within the opening half hour. I mean, heck, right from the opening scene, you're going to get an idea of just how wacky and nutty this film is going to be. So in the samurai era, you see some dudes at the very beginning of the film eating in like a modern style restaurant, eating chocolate parfaits, while the cashier is using like a 1980s style cash register. Okay, we do not see this kind of thing in movies very often. But due to the presence of extraterrestrials in this story, the samurai era has been upgraded to a certain extent in terms of technology. And that creates kind of a bizarre amalgamation of visuals that I found to be very interesting, entertaining, and funny. So Gintama was successful at grabbing my interest right from the opening scene. This is pretty interesting. Now there is a certain energy and charm to this film's comedy that I really enjoyed as well. It's a mix of like over the top and lower key stuff that's kind of mashed together. You know what I mean? So, for example, some of the aliens very early on are portrayed as animal humanoid hybrids that are played by actors in animal suits, like with animal heads and stuff. I'm a fan of that kind of thing, and I was laughing when those guys showed up. There's also a twist early on that occurs during a beetle hunt that had me laughing quite a bit as well. So I suspect that there are a few cultural in-jokes that I missed in this. I think I missed a few jokes in this based on some culturally specific, I guess scenarios. But, I did understand most of the jokes on display. It probably helps to be somewhat familiar with Japanese culture and movies while watching this, but it's not essential by any means. If you like movies and they have a mix of like wacky and witty humor, you'll probably like this. Now, one of the reasons why this works is because of the cast. Shun Oguri has been around for a while now. He's been in stuff like Lupin the Third, The Woodsman and the Rain, the Crow Zero films, Neighbor Number 13, etc. Gintama is probably one of the more overly comedic roles in his career from what I've seen, and I thought he was very funny in this. I think he has good comedic timing. However, the most memorable performance in this movie was by Kana Hashimoto, who is quite adorable and very charming. She definitely nails her attempts at humor and steals the show whenever she's on screen. Also, I really liked her character design. Usually when Japanese girls use like blue contacts, it just feels kind of off. It just looks a little awkward, but Kana made it work in this. And that's probably because her character design is so vibrant. She has like reddish-orange hair and a reddish-orange outfit that kind of contrasts her deep blue eyes. There's something about it that just looked kind of oddly stylish to me. I just really liked how they designed her character. You know what I mean? And I think she comes off quite well in this. Every time she shows up in the movie, I kind of perk up a little bit more, and I'm interested in seeing the type of shenanigans she's getting into. You know what I mean? Now, in terms of special effects, Gintama uses a mix of like cheesy low-grade stuff with some cool stuff. And it feels right at home in the world that they establish. The fact that this is like a comedy action flick kind of allows the filmmakers some leeway with certain things, like the special effects, because they do not have to worry about maintaining like a serious tone. You know what I mean? I mean, there are certain times where they do try to get serious, and the special effects aren't entirely convincing, but overall, it wasn't a problem for me. The action is pretty good. I think the action was pretty good in this. There was definitely some room for improvement in that aspect, both in terms of the quantity and the quality of the action here. So in terms of quality, the movie does lack like memorable set pieces that kind of blow you away. You know, there are some good moments, like the sword fight that occurs at night. I kind of liked, but it does lack a certain wow factor, you know, that you get from something like the Rurouni Kenshin trilogy from recent years, right? There's nothing on that level in terms of action. Also, the finale kind of stops and starts too much because the characters have to stop and talk to each other a little bit. So, again, like I said, there's some room for improvement there. Now, in terms of action quantity, okay, the quantity of the action, there could have been more of it because the runtime does feel a bit on the long side at over 2 full hours. You know, I never felt bored in this, really at all. But there are some parts in the middle section that I do feel dragged out a little bit. You know what I mean? And this movie could have used maybe 2 action set pieces smack dab in the middle. You know, 2 impressive ones. And that would have, like, elevated it to another level, I think. So, and maybe even the editing, they could have tightened the runtime down maybe just a little bit, too. But overall, I think Gintama was a fun movie that is probably best described as a comedy first and an action movie second. So go into that with those expectations. You know, similar to like Ajin Demi-Human in the Death Note films from 2006, this Gintama live action flick kind of makes me want to check out the anime and the manga. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, I saw the Death Note live action films first back in the day, then I checked out the anime and the manga. And then Ajin Demi-Human I just saw recently, and that makes me want to check out the anime and the manga, which I will hopefully sometime soon. And now I got Gintama I got to check out too. So, you know, these movies are, you know, there are some live-action adaptations in Japan that I think are good enough to kind of whet the palate of certain people that are unfamiliar with these franchises. And I think it did that for me here. So, you know, check this one out. It's available on DVD and Blu-ray in the United States, maybe streaming as well. So this is one of the good live-action adaptations in recent years, I think. So, as always, I'll see you next time.